Hey guys, DemoniusX here. Um, as you may know, a lot of things always bother me, and if it ain't one thing, it's another. And I've talked about this topic many a time, but I don't think I've been very thorough about it. So I'm going to go ahead and try to be as thorough as my mind can take it. And that is our job market. As you know, our job market is falling down to the pits of hell. We are going to hell in the handbasket without even any kind of notion or way to stop it. The leaders of our country are the enemy because they don't want in any way, shape, or form to fix the problem that is causing the problem. They just constantly make these laws that don't change a thing. Like many of you may have voted for Obama. Now let's go back to 2008 when the election was going on. All those candidates were Fruit Loops. Okay, none of them had any kind of incentive to fix our economy. None of them. Okay, they just wanted to have some kind of public image, win the public's eye, and get elected in. And Obama was the candidate for that. You could tell on how his campaign was run that he wanted the public's trust and eye and give this bullshit message about change, which I have not seen anything in the sort during his 4-year term yet. And if he were to run again, I don't think he could win, because I think the only reason he was elected president is because America's never had an African American president. So I think the population of African Americans thought it was going to be some kind of cool thing, and Caucasians as well, thinking, hey, wouldn't it be cool for a change to have a black president instead of a white president? But as that is a very touchy subject, we will move on. But I must say something about his presidency. They spent a lot of taxpayers' money on garbage. You see Michelle Obama, his wife, from what I've seen, she spent more money than any of the first ladies in office in the history of this country. Now, I could be wrong on that, but as far as my knowledge goes, like I said, my mind does not go too far back into history on points where it's about spending money. I just care about, the wars, the placements of laws that were put into motion, and the like. But I don't think anyone has ever put as much money into her trips in any other country as much as she did. And these trips were supposed to show off some sort of change and peace and talks. Let me tell you something, all that is rubbish. Nothing of that has happened because, well, do you see anything changed? Everything is the same, if not worse, than what it was back in 2008. I mean, those poor people who rely on that Social Security income was almost screwed beyond belief. Sorry, I just had to, smokers have it. We gotta take a drag every now and then. Yeah, it just baffles me that that in this country we have lazy people in the job fair. Now we're going to go back to the job topic here. Many places in the paper state that if you're interested in this job, go here or there, but they never mention anything about experience. Now here's my question: how do you expect anyone to get experience if you don't hire them and teach them? See, employers are lazy. They don't want to do anything to benefit the employee because they figure it takes too much time to show this person what to do. Now, if you show somebody what to do, you'll be surprised how far their ingenuity from that point forward will take you, and you'll actually see he's a benefit with the company. But if the person doesn't have any experience, he's screwed. But how's someone supposed to get experience if there's no job to offer the experience for that worker to gain? You ever think about that? Employers are dumb. Most of them are, because they don't use their brain. They just, it's like, oh, well, if I hire someone with experience, it'll save me the time. And there's another thing I have a problem with, is people are so obsessed with time now anymore. I remember back in the 50s, now I wasn't around then, but I've talked to many old folk and heard many, many stories. And back in those days, you worked, you came home, you visited your neighbor, you drank a couple beers, you just chilled out and listened to rock and roll music and had a good time. Flash forward about 60 years, you get up, go to work, but if you're a parent, it gets even better. You get up, make sure your kids are up, get them dressed, take them to school, go to work, or have your partner or someone you know take them to school, or you take them to school. And, you know, there's so many combinations that can be worked with around that schedule. Go to work, come home, or sometimes if your kid has a problem at school, you have to go to the school, take care of the problem, pick them up from school, or have somebody you know pick them up from school and have them look after that child until he or she is out of work. And you come home. I mean, there's just so much. Now, I can say that it was like that in the 50s as well, but it wasn't as chaotic or fast-paced and flush for time. I mean, the reason why back in the 50s and 60s and 70s were so well known as good eras and decades is because everything was well thought. People were working, they were happy, had money to do things, and it went along like clockwork. Now we have an economy that is so broken that everything starts to fall apart. Skyscrapers that need to be taken down are not. Look at Detroit. You know, I lived 2 miles from Detroit when I was living in Michigan. And look at Hiroshima after the bombing. Look how much they flourished, how beautiful it is after we nuked their asses. Okay? I have respect for Japan. I'm just saying. I'm using that as an analogy, just a phrase, if you will. Nothing against Japanese. My love to the Japanese. Then we have Detroit, downtown Detroit. Look how broken, dirty, and crummy it is. And nothing's being done about it because Detroit is broke. Like, that is such a surprise. Most of America is broke. No one has the money because, well, like I said, less people working, less people spending money, less people making the economy go around because they don't have the money to spend to make it go around. Which I think America should create some kind of program where, now they do have this for people with mental disabilities, but I honestly think they should make a program like this for people who are willing to work. You go to this place, you're set up with a caseworker, he views your strengths and weaknesses and tries to find you a job that you can do with your strengths and weaknesses. Now, they do that for people with mental issues who are seeing a counselor and have been diagnosed with clinical depression, manic depression, whatever kind of mental lulu problem you may have. But why not try to do something to get Americans to work? Sure, Michigan came up with something called Worker Left Behind, but the qualifications within that program are atrocious. They want you to spend money on the training, for one thing, and two, they find you something, but you're left in the hole with all that money you spent to get in the program in the first place. I had a friend in Michigan, his name is Dan, I mentioned him a lot in my videos, and he went through this program, or tried to, and halfway he wasn't getting the training he paid for and dropped out of the program. So I suggest, if you're in Michigan, stay away from that program. It is rubbish and it doesn't work for everybody. It may work for some people, sure. Rich families, ones with a lot of money, and they can just throw it away like it's trash, perhaps. But the problem with spending a lot of money to get training is it'll put you in a hole, and we all know that bills keep going up in price. One day it may go up in price. We may never have any money to spend on anything we'd like to have. There's so much I want right now. I mean, I want to build the materials to make an arcade cabinet. I want to go on trips. I want to go do things, and I can't do any of that because I haven't been hired anywhere, except that thing I do at night. But that's not gonna. That just pays the bills. It doesn't do anything else. And I mean, I've been job searching since March, and I haven't found anything. But there is one thing I did not specify because I'm kind of embarrassed, but I'll go ahead and tell my fans. Through a temp service, I was working for a valve company, and my wife had to have emergency back surgery, and I had to be, of course, most of you who love your wife and want to tend to her needs, you want to be by her side. I talked to my manager when I was working there, and he said it would probably be okay. But then I come home and HR calls me, and basically I violated my 90-day probation and I was fired. It was a good valve company too. They've been around in business for 155 years. But here's the thing: if you're that cold-hearted that you can't understand that some of your workers may need to attend to personal events such as that, and you're going to go ahead and fire that employee, you're a piece of shit. That's all I gotta say. You're a fucking piece of shit. You have no heart, and you make me sick. I mean, I don't care if they're in business in 155 years. They can still get this dick and fuck off. And I really liked that job because I was learning a very valuable skill, and time just went by. I mean, there was so much you did in one shift, and it was easy on my back. I'm like working in retail. Retail just murders your body from head to toe, and you don't get it paid enough for it either, which is pretty sad considering, you know, you're breaking your back to make it work. But that's the job I had with that company. I won't state their name because I don't want to get anybody in trouble or whatever. I just want to put that out there. But since March, I haven't been able to find a stable work environment. I won't work fast food. I refuse to. It's too fast. I'm not quick on my feet. I can move at a pretty good pace, but, you know, granted, if I was thin, I could probably run around a hell of a lot faster and get things done more efficiently, but, you know, we can only move so fast, and there's so much to remember with fast food too. What a person wants, how much they want on it, what stuff they don't want on it. Oh, excuse me. Pardon me. How much of something, and the list goes on. Quality, quantity, what's just a whole bunch of stuff to remember. And having to work at a food place at one point, that's something I don't ever want to do again. Because now they expect you to do 4 to 5 positions in one shift and paying you little as possible. I mean, that seems to be the American way now. Do more and get paid less. If you find a job, that is. I feel sorry for all those Americans who are trying their best to get work, and the American working force continues to shun them and turn them away, which is my problem, and your problem as well, for those who are trying to find work and have to live off family to get the ball rolling on certain employment. And I speak upon everybody when I say I'm sorry. We live in a very shitty country now with crappy leadership. I mean, we're going down the shitter. I mean, there's no question about that. The stupid politicians get together and they're all like, we'll do this, and we'll give tax breaks here, and we'll do this here, and then the money will happen, and then people will be happy. Shut up. Your words mean nothing and have nothing within them. You're just giving the American people shallow promises. Okay? You talk. When are you going to walk? When are you going to put this shit into motion? When are you going to put the American people to work? When are you going to put programs in place so people can get the experiences needed to get the jobs they need? When are you going to make college more affordable? When are you going to help the American people? When are you going to stop funding these third world countries? When are you going to stop giving money to people who don't need it? When is it going to stop? That's my question. It needs to stop. It needs to be erased, and the whole money spent, budgeting, whatever it is that you're doing, America, you need to rethink. You need to put a plan in place that's going to benefit not only the American, but the country. Because the more Americans that are at work, the better the country will do, because they will have money to spend. And you have money to spend, they can spend it on things, and then the more sales that are made, the more money goes to companies, the more the economy is flourished. Now, people may say the economy is getting better, and it is maybe just that much, a hair, if. You know, there's quite a few people, I was going to say a lot, but that would be a complete lie. There are some people I know that are finally finding some form of work, either it be part-time or full-time. I mean, more people need full-time because of all this stuff costs so much. Gas, food, cost of living, rent, house payments, car insurance, the list just goes on and on and on. But what are we to do? Anyways, this is my vlog for the day. I know I was all over the place, and I'm sorry if I didn't clear anything up. I just want to go ahead and make one that I've been thinking about for the past few days and get it out in the open. So, take it as you will. Believe in what you want. If you think this country is worth fighting for, that's you, not me. Peace.